What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. With Morbius just months away, presumably the first test screenings have been shown to the public, and now a new report has surfaced, a leaked description of both scenes, one going a long way in setting up the Sinister Six, the other going a long way in introducing a key member. We're going to go ahead and break down what this report says about both post-credit scenes, issue the normal spoiler warning, then I'm going to give you guys my take, something that I think Sony just can't help themselves from doing, seeing as the door is wide open to do so. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including a limited edition Infinity Saga box set. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around at the end of the video, we'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, there have been almost as many Morbius headlines as have there been fan theories and conjecture surrounding the film since the first trailer arrived early last week, and you may remember we reported on one in particular, a fan theory that turned into a headline, speculation gaining so much traction on the internet that the actor himself had to come out and shut it down. Jared Harris is in fact not playing Dr. Octopus in this Sony film or in the MCU, but that barely begins to answer just how Sony is going to cross this over and which characters we're going to see, if any, from the MCU now that we've seen Vulture. And this seems like the perfect place to issue the normal spoiler warning. If this is in any way going to ruin the film for you, it comes out in just 3 or 4 months. You've waited this long, you can wait a little bit longer. Please back out now if you're susceptible to this sort of thing. You have to remember to take this with a grain of salt, but some of these reports, especially of the post-credit scenes, have been right in the past, and this is about the right time frame for them to hit the internet this far in advance. So again, the normal spoiler warning, if this is going to ruin Morbius for you, please back out now, and you've been warned. So let's dive right in. The first post-credit scene is actually what we see in the trailer when Morbius comes across Michael Keaton's Vulture. Now, if you're asking yourself, why would they go ahead and put one of the post-credit scenes in the first trailer? Well, it's exactly what they did with Spider-Man Far From Home in the scene where you saw Spider-Man cruise through the middle of what used to be the Avengers Tower and now is presumably going to be the Baxter Building. That was one of the post-credit scene reveals, and it shows up right before 3 or 4 Fantastic Four Easter eggs. Seemed like a pivotal reveal and something they would have wanted to save to the post-credit scene, but apparently that gets lost in translation between the people coming up with these awesome reveals and then whomever's cutting the trailer, and or they're okaying it, because yes, the first post-credit scene is Morbius meeting Michael Keaton's Vulture on the roof of maybe a prison after a prison break, and while the details are light about the dialogue between the two, apparently it sets up some sort of connection, helps you understand how Michael Keaton's Vulture would know of Michael Morbius in the first place, as well as setting up one key fact, finally tying Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe over to Sony, and at the same time squarely placing Morbius and the rest of the Venomverse over in the MCU by adjacent means. And there were some corroborating reports that came this week saying that it'll be a case-by-case basis with the studios, and while they were comfortable letting them use the Vulture, apparently Kevin Feige and co were not as comfortable with them putting Tom Holland's Spider-Man on the wall in graffiti, and that's why Sony substituted the Sam Raimi costume from the PS4. Now, to me, that's a huge deal, so go ahead and earmark that. We're going to circle back for my take at the end, but let's jump into the second post-credit scene first. And that's where this report says we will finally be introduced to Dr. Otto Octavius in a scene where Morbius is being introduced to him via the Vulture, and that will signal to the audience the beginning of the Sinister Six, as Doc Ock was the one who originally put the supervillain team together in the comics. And while I've griped that usually Sony just tells the same old Spider-Man story over and over again, and I was hoping they'd break that, but let's face it, if they're going to introduce Dr. Octopus, maybe they'll just bring Uncle Ben out of the blue and we'll get to finally meet him too, because, well, Sony. But let's think critically about this for a second. You're Sony, and there's only so many things you can control. This is something we talked about in last night's video about the particulars of their sharing agreement. If this is truly going to be a case-by-case basis, I can't see Marvel Studios allowing Sony to have the control over casting that character. And I know what you're going to say, hey, it's a co-production, maybe Marvel Studios will be the one to cast him, but that's only for the films that they actually co-produce, like Far From Home and Homecoming. There's no evidence or official announcement that they're co-producing this too, and while there were rumors that that was part of the sharing agreement, and one of Sony's main contentions was they needed Kevin Feige to help make sure they could steer this in the right direction and keep it adjacent to the MCU, There's no evidence of that, and Kevin Feige's as busy as they come. It's hard for me to think with everything he's got on his plate, and especially this imminent involvement with the Star Wars franchise, that there's any room for him to be consulting on a movie like Morbius that would have already had the screenwrite and the script done, the casting, and already been filming by the time they would have brokered this deal. More likely the case, and my point is that it's mutually exclusive. If Sony's going to go ahead and cast Dr. Octopus and put him in Morbius, then he's never going to show up in the MCU, and if that's what happens in the second post-credit scene, then it basically cements that the Sinister Six crossing over with Tom Holland is something that will take place over in the SUMC, the Sony universe of shared Marvel characters, and not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's okay, but that leads to one logical conclusion, one thing that Sony is absolutely free to do with no involvement from Marvel Studios, and they've already got what they need. Let me explain. If you're Marvel Studios and you decide you want to play stingy, and you only want to give Morbius one connection to the MCU, they could put Michael Keaton's Vulture in there, but they couldn't use any of the Tom Holland imagery, and there's no cameo from Tom Holland himself. Then you've already given them what they need, and if you're Sony, you've already crossed your finish line. Look, they've got a franchise in Venom that up till now had nothing to do with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but now they have a cinematic opportunity in a movie that they can do whatever they want without anybody telling them what to do, to put Venom in that film alongside Michael Keaton's Vulture, and now all of a sudden Venom is immediately connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but more importantly Tom Holland's Peter Parker. And where you had a Venom franchise that was already wildly successful in spite of it not being the greatest film and with no connection to the current live action Spider-Man, can you imagine the potential for the earnings for Venom 2 once we know that eventually he's going to cross over with Spidey? There's no way Sony is going to miss this opportunity. They've already made it across the finish line. They are now connected to the MCU, meaning obviously my big take, and a shocker I know, did you guys see what I did there, a little Spider-Man humor, is that they're going to put Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock, not as Venom, but reporting in some capacity in this Morbius film. And it wouldn't surprise me if they couldn't even wait for a post-credit scene, if they just give him a cameo somewhere, and then immediately the stock in your Venom 2 that's coming out in the same year as Spider-Man 3 almost concurrently is going to go way up, and where you were already going to make dollars on dollars, it's just more dollars. And for a company like Sony that feels like they've been getting the short end of the stick and that they've had to play by Disney's rules, in this instance they don't. They've already got what they need, and they have a Venom franchise that's dearly in need of a connection to Spider-Man. They've got the finish line right in front of them. I don't see any way that they don't take it. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about all of this, especially the point that I just made. Do you think now that they've got Michael Keaton's Vulture in Morbius that they would miss an opportunity to connect it to Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock? If you think so, and for any reason, I'm all ears. Put it in the comments, as well as either of these post-credit scenes. Do you share the same skepticism I do, or the same sadness regarding the fact that if we do see Doc Ock in this movie, it's probably locking in the fact we will not see him in the MCU? Guys, let me know all your comments down below, and let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which comes at the 600,000 subscriber mark. We already gave away 1 at the 550 mark and 2 more at the 500 mark. If you missed the winners, all you got to do, scroll back to the channel. If you want to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and that'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes we're giving away at the channel, like the limited edition Infinity Saga box set. We gave 1 away on New Year's Eve. We're giving another away on the anniversary of the channel. Actually, it'll be the 2nd year anniversary. How fast that went by. We're also doubling down on the number of prizes we're giving away this year, and I feel like I need to give a concrete update on that as well. When we hit the last PlayStation 4 Pro giveaway, it's 650, so there'll be 1 at 600 and 1 at 650. For the 7, 750, 8, 850, 9, 950, and million subscriber mark, knock on wood, we can even come close to that in the next 2 years, we're going to switch over to Oculus Rift Pros, the Oculus Rift sets that you can use VR and you don't need a computer to run them. We're going to give those away intermittently, at least until the PlayStation 5 comes out. Did I just say intermittently? Intermittently, at least until the PlayStation 5 comes out, as well as a ton of other comic related stuff. You guys have given me some good ideas, but all the same rules will always apply for all of that. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, make sure notifications are turned on, then leave a like and a comment on this video. The more videos that you like and comment on, because it's truly random, the better chance you have of winning. All winners are announced at the end of videos, and like I just mentioned, if you've missed any of the past winners, it's as simple as scrolling back through the channel, looking for the winner announcements in the title, clicking on that video, and scrolling to the end. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always. Guys, thanks for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.